Talk to Me.
Hello, my name is Jack, and you're listening to Talk to Me, a Prowl radio interview segment, and today I'm here with Aaron of PWRUP. And why don't you just introduce yourself for us?
Thank you for having me. As you said, I'm Aaron from PWRUP. I am from Western Mass, so I play guitar for PWRUP. I also do some vocals. I used to play saxophone on like the very old recordings. I think that's pretty much it now.
All right.
If you talk to us online, I pretty much run most of the socials. I do all the merchandise. A lot of it, yeah.
Awesome. So let's just get right into your questions. How is playing live shows, and more specifically SPI Fest, which is a big ska music festival for listeners who don't know, and you have squid hats at your show as part of the imagery. I want to know if there's a story behind that as well.
Okay, so for the first question, playing shows rules. SPI Fest specifically, this year was incredible. This year it was in Connecticut, which, if you're not familiar with how like the shape of New England, where we were in Connecticut was actually like 20 minutes from my house in Massachusetts. So that was actually kind of amazing, being able to play a festival and sleep in my own bed.
I can imagine. That's probably very helpful.
Saved a lot of money and a lot of stress and a lot of time and energy and stuff. But yeah, no, it was cool. And it was also cool to have like all the bands from all over the country come to us and like hang out with us and see, you know, what our home base is like, and being able to host everyone here. Like that was a really cool thing. As far as like SPI Fest, like I went to the first one. Like this year was SPI Fest 2. Last year I went to SPI Fest 1 down in Austin. And that was before PWRUP was on SPI. I just wanted to, you know, kind of get a feel for SPI. And I saw the flyer and I saw a bunch of bands that wouldn't typically tour up to New England. And I was like, I want to see all those bands. And like, there's a lot of festivals happening, and like I could go to those festivals, but all those bands on those festivals are touring to New England. So I want to go to a festival where I'm going to see a bunch of bands that I wouldn't typically see, you know? And it was the best vibe. It was the coolest vibe. So many incredible bands, so many incredible people. And honestly, I'll go ahead and say SPI Fest 1 was where I looked around and I immediately went to the PWRUP group chat and I was like, we got to do SPI.
That's awesome. That's so nice to hear. I mean, I love SPI. I think they have incredible bands. I think your PWRUP is a fantastic addition to the lineup.
Thank you.
Is there anything else you want to say about like your live shows, just in general, not just SPI?
Honestly, like I mean, if I'm gonna go specifically like this past year, the shows we've been playing have been wild. Like it's been very cool. It's been a very cool experience being invited to play so many shows that before this year, I don't think we ever would have imagined being invited to. For example, we opened the year, or we started off the year opening for Bim Scala Bim, and then immediately did a dual record release with Mega Infinity. And then a couple months after that, we were doing a weekender with Do It With Malice, and then we did a show with Sonic Boom 6 with Faintest Idea, and then let's see, after that we were doing like we did a Midwest tour, which when we started this band, we never thought we would be like touring anywhere. The idea was to have like a local band and do something fun in our free time.
And what about the squid hats at your show? Tell us a bit about that.
Oh yeah, so I'm not sure if I have the story entirely right with the squid hats, but Justin, our singer, he used to work for Six Flags, which is like right down the street from us, and he was able to buy like a bunch of squid hats, like a box of squid hats, basically at cost, and he just bought them and would like give them out to, you know, kids and stuff, like not necessarily at the park, but like, you know, kids in his life. He would just be like, hey, here's a squid hat, that was like forever ago, and he has been, even since before PWRUP, that is that orange squid hat that he always wears. So that one is actually from Six Flags.
That's really awesome. So it hasn't just been the power up thing, like I assume. That's really interesting.
Yeah,
Um,
no, he's been wearing that at our shows like forever. Our guitarist Jeff and I went to Croydon Fest, or this is not Croydon Fest this past year, and saw Omnigon, and Adam Davis was like, hey, so what's up with your singer in the squid hat? And I was like, all right, well that's it. We got to lean into the squid hat now. So I was like, all right, we're ordering squid hats, and then we got them screen printed with our band name on them, and then we brought them to Supernova and sold out of 84 of them over the weekend.
oh my God.
Our next question, I want to ask, your Power Up appeared on the Taylor Swift cover album, and I want to know why you were on that cover album and what made you choose the song New Romantics to cover on that album specifically.
So that was put out by A Few Good Records out of New Jersey. They just randomly posted on Twitter, hey, would anybody want to do a ska tribute to Taylor Swift? And for the record, I have been a Taylor Swift fan. Not necessarily now that she's like a billionaire flying a private jet all over the world, but you know.
Yeah.
But I've been a fan of her music, and especially the album 1989 hit me. It affected me a lot, like back when it came out. So as soon as they posted that asking for bands, I was like, is anybody doing New Romantics? And that was like my favorite song off the album. And they were like, nope, it's yours if you want it. And I was like, cool. And I texted the band chat. I was like, hey, I just signed us up for a thing. We have to do this now.
Yeah, it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission.
Yeah, because I guarantee you, nobody else in Power Up would have been like, yeah, let's do a Taylor Swift thing.
That's awesome. I think you guys killed that song, so I'm really glad that's on that record. I think that was the first Power Up song I heard too, which is strange. It's not really like your typical stuff, but I'm glad they got me into your band. It's so fantastic.
Thank you. I'm really glad that we put that out, and it came out before Just Devils came out. I mean, we had our demo out for several years at that point, and like I don't know, I like, we had been playing shows again since after lockdowns, and I was like we got to get something out, we got to do something, and that opportunity presented itself, and I was like, let's do it. And obviously, like, it doesn't sound like the rest of our music, but who cares?
I mean, it's fun and awesome. So exactly, who cares if it doesn't sound like the typical stuff? And one more question before we really get to Just Devils, your record. I want to ask, how was it to record that EP with Knockover City? It was you and one other member of Power Up, I believe.
Yeah, it was me and Justin, the singer trombone player. I played saxophone, he played trombone. That was a cool experience. So for anyone who doesn't know, Knockover City is a band from Merrimack Valley, Mass, like up in the Lowell area, kind of like North Shore, north of Boston. Very, very, very awesome post-hardcore band, I guess would be probably the best way to describe them. Post-hardcore that is influenced by ska bands, like the singer Nunzio, like one of his favorite bands is Bomb the Music Industry. That it might be his favorite band. I'm not sure. He's gonna yell at me later for this, but they're awesome, and he wanted to have more. Like, he wanted to have an EP with horns on it. So he hit us up, and we were like, yeah, sure, we'll do it. So I had not heard any of the songs by the time we got into the studio, and I was like listening to it for the first time and like just kind of screwing around. Can I swear in here?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was just like fucking around on the alto, and I was just like, okay, yeah, this might sound fine. This might sound fine, and Justin was kind of doing the same thing. And so if you're listening to the horns on that EP, like, it's kind of just disjointed and all over the place. The way they mixed it, it ends up working out like kind of cool. But yeah, it was a good time. We showed up to this. It wasn't even a warehouse. It was like a barn. It was like their practice space that they were just kind of DIY recording it.
A barn?
It was like a barn that had a bunch of practice spaces in it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was cool. But yeah, and they're playing the songs for us, and Nunzio's like, yeah, okay, so this part, yeah, like dun 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 dun, and I was like, okay, try to memorize it in that moment, and like also learn the song. So like a lot of that is just absolutely pulled out of our asses, but like It was fun. It was a fun experience, and I'm happy with how it came out. It was cool.
Yeah, I listened to that EP and I thought fun is a good way to describe it.
Yeah.
I haven't fully checked out Knock Over City, but that EP made me want to check them out a bit more.
Their new album, The Campaign, is incredible. Probably like easily one of my top albums of this year. And it's so if you go on Spotify, it's not like one album, it's 4 EPs that they put out, and then they kind of mash them all together into a 12-song full length for vinyl. I think they have a playlist somewhere with all the songs in order, but yeah, everything on it is so sick, and the use of the horns is so cool. One of the songs, Muffins for Marvin, is probably the closest I think any band has gotten to sounding like the Flaming Tsunamis since the Flaming Tsunamis. Just absolutely excellent band, and they're playing our Halloween show next week, and I'm super stoked about it.
All right, next question. Now that Just Devils is a year old, how have you felt about the response to the album from ska fans and just anyone?
It's been unreal. It's been completely unreal. Like none of us, like I said, we went into this band expecting to just be a local band and play a couple shows. We released that, demo forever ago, and then we, decided to put out the album, and we were like, I know who is going to like this, and I know who's going to care about this, and it's going to be like 25 to 30 people who are going to be real stoked about it, and that's it, and that's fine. And maybe we'll get a couple cool local shows out of it. And then this year happened, and it was absolutely wild. Like, it was so cool. Like, there's the response was very humbling. As most of us have not experienced something like that before,
That must have been very exciting then. I can only imagine, like, going from those demos to how big that response has been. Must have been really awesome.
It was very. All I can say is it was unreal. It just didn't even feel real.
What were you and the band's main inspirations for Just Devils?
For Just Devils, I would say, we're throwing bands out there. I would say there was, No Effects, there was Flaming Tsunamis, or some RX Bandits, probably some Death by Stereo, a little bit of Wilhelm Scream. Let's see, I'm trying to think what else is on there. Definitely Big D and the Kids Table, Voodoo Glow Skulls, your typical ska-core bands that most of us listen to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're pretty divided as far as influences in the band. We all have very different influences from each other. Like Gary, our main songwriter, he likes prog bands like Yes and Rush, and he'll also listen to gent hardcore. Meanwhile, I'm over here listening to ska and ska-core, and then Justin's listening to weird Chicago post-rock, post-hardcore. I don't know. There were so many influences that went into Just Devils, and I feel like a lot of them came across almost exactly how we wanted them to. So we were very stoked about it.
Well, I feel like you might have just answered this next question, but what led the band into creating this combination of ska, hardcore, punk, metal, thrash, prog? There's also a disco segment that I want to ask about. What came into all of that coming together on this album?
So most of us, not including our drummer Brian, but the other 4 of us have been playing some kind of ska punk or ska core since we were in high school, in various bands, various local bands, like high school and college, and then after that, just doing more stuff like that. And all of us kind of drew from those local influences, like the Flaming Tsunamis, that kind of pulled in every possible genre and subgenre that they could, just to keep their own interest while playing music. Because I don't know, when you grow up with music like that, it's hard to keep your own interest playing one genre. So I mean, it's just what we've been doing. We've been doing it for almost 20 years now. So
yeah, that's really interesting. I mean, I just love how I'm not usually a metal person or a hardcore person, but just how you guys, I don't know what you guys did, but just clicks so well for me with Just Devils. And it makes me want to ask, like, what songs are you personally the most proud of off of Just Devils?
Let's see. So I kind of took a bit of a backseat in the writing of this album. I did do like a fair share of writing, but like Justin wrote most of the lyrics, Gary wrote most of the music. I wrote a couple of like choruses and bridges here and there, but if I was to say like what song maybe I think identifies Power Up, like
Mhm.
on like the level of like this song is Power Up, I would say Corner Office and President Evil 2.
Yeah, those songs are fantastic. I mean, President Evil 2 is just like one of the most succinct songs about how it feels to live today, I feel. It's like so angry, and all of its anger is placed in the right place, I feel. Where
Yeah, that was a very very pointed song, and lyrically, Justin originally he had a date for it. It was like February 2nd, 2022 or something. Or that's probably the wrong date, but it was a day where he went online and just was like reading all of the headlines from that day, and it was all just like COVID things, COVID things, COVID things, and then like the Democrats being completely ineffective, and the Republicans being absolutely awful, and it was just thing after thing, and he was just like, this really sucks so bad.
yeah, it does. It does. To
Like,
go off,
yeah.
sorry,
Oh, just like just the fact that the government is it's always being awful, and the people that are supposed to help us are just enabling and or like at best not helping, and at worst enabling and making it worse.
Mhm. Well, to go a bit off topic from that, I guess. What made you decide to re-record all of Just an Ugly Equal Family for Just Devils?
So when we recorded An Ugly Equal Family, we were a four-piece at the time. Our drummer Brian hadn't joined the band yet, and so our guitarist Jeff was on drums. Jeff, for what he did, Jeff did a great job. Jeff recorded all of that on what's the Apple one? GarageBand. So we recorded that in Jeff's basement on GarageBand. I did all of the guitars. We were kind of still writing the songs as we did it. Like, at that point, I don't think we had really decided that Justin was going to be the main vocalist. So there was just like a lot of stuff going on. And then when we went to go record this new crop of songs, Brian is like actually like a professional sound recorder.
Mhm.
Like sound recording engineer. And everyone was just like, we have this opportunity, we have this time in an actual studio with an actual recording engineer. Let's just do it. Let's do all of them. Let's give these songs some justice, and if we decide to put them behind us after that, then so be it. But like let's give them their due.
Yeah.
And so we did, and we almost didn't. Like we almost just released like the 5 new songs as a EP, but I'm very glad that we redid the 7 old songs.
I mean, me too, because I mean, I liked Just an Ugly Equal Family, but Self-Made specifically on the new album is like incredible. One of the best songs I've ever heard. I'm really glad you decided to re-release that. It's like, I don't even have words to describe that song, but it's really good. I think all of the re-recordings just solidify those as like finished songs. I don't know if that's the phrase I'm looking for, but like these are the best those songs could be, I feel.
I appreciate that, and like I definitely think that there was like the original demo left a lot to be desired, both in quality, both in recording quality and in like just cohesiveness and like writing quality. Like we didn't really rewrite any of the songs, but there was parts here and there that we added in that we've been playing these songs for like 5-6 years at this point, so it was like we can definitely like put in these parts. Like songs evolve over time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like we were able to do like a much more fleshed out version of those songs. like for example, like Corner Office, like we were able to throw that feature in, let those features from the guys from Death by Stereo, and like that was so cool. And if we hadn't redone that, like that probably wouldn't have happened.
I really thank you for bringing up that feature, because my next question is about all of the features on the album. You have like, I think 5 songs with features, and I just want to ask, how did you go about getting those features, and why did you reach out to the artists that you reached out to?
Me personally, I'm very big on, like, bands used to do tons of features on their albums all the time, and it was really like a sign of, like, you know, the scene that you're a part of, like the bands that you support, and it was just a big community thing, and it was so cool to be able to like pull in so many friends, and like I'm really happy that the friends that we pulled in were like from such like bands of such diverse genres. Like for example, Chris from Dissidente and Mutiny. Like he, first of all, knocked it out of the park. But like we've known him forever. He's been a friend of most of us since, you know, 2-3 bands ago. And like we've been friends since what, like 2007, 2006, something like that. So it was cool to be able to say like, hey, you know, come be on our album, come be part of this thing that we're doing. Like same with the Best of the Worst. Like we've known them since 2007. Like it's like come be part of this.
I really loved all of the features, and especially the Best of the Worst. How Jay, is he the vocalist?
Yeah, Jay's the main vocalist.
Yes, yeah. Jay. How he does the bridge on Castigation Simulation.
So that was actually Joe, the drummer.
Oh.
Yeah, he sang the bridge on that song.
Oh, okay.
He's also the singer of Thirsty Guys. But yeah, he actually wrote his own lyrics for that too.
Oh, interesting. Well then, Joe, I'm sorry for giving credit to Jay. Joe, you did fantastic.
Jay and Liz definitely still knocked it out of the park. They did the like the choruses, like the dissociation part.
Yeah.
We actually had like a version recorded before that where it was just me like layering like 4 different vocals over the chorus, and I was like, no, this has to be the 2 of them because that'll be sick.
Is it just the 2 of them, or is it?
It's the 2 of them. They layered their vocals a bunch of times, and then I think we did like a gang vocal underneath it.
Yeah. Okay. I did like wonder if it was just the 2 of them, because there is so many layers and so many voices there, but makes sense that they are the 2 leads with if you had layers there. But about the vocals, that makes me want to ask, the whole band is credited as having vocals on the album. Who sings what, and like how do you decide who sings what?
So funny story, when we started the band, we actually didn't know who was going to be the vocalist. At one point, Gary, our bassist, was going to be the main vocalist because he was the main vocalist in one of our previous bands. There was the option for me to be the main vocalist, but I kind of didn't want to because I've been the main vocalist in bands before, and I like taking kind of a secondary role in vocals. Justin had never been a main vocalist before, and we were like, dude, you can kill this. You should do it. Like, and he did it, and I think he was nervous at first, but he really came into it. He came into his own. As far as like planning out who sings what, I typically do like a lot of the background vocals, like the harmonies and stuff. And if there's like a chorus or a bridge or something, sometimes if I write that out, I'll sing it myself. Our drummer Brian does pretty much nonstop backup vocals the entire set. Gary, our bassist, he does a lot of like the screamy stuff, or like more like the deep growly stuff is Gary. And then Jeff doesn't do a whole lot of vocals, but he does some, because like we like to do a lot of vocal harmonies. And like at the last track of the album, Robber Baron, like at the very end, we go through like and alternate between everyone singing.
Oh, I never realized that's what that was. That's what I love that whole like last section of the album where you go through like and reference every song off of the album too. I thought that was a great way to close it.
It was funny because we had all the lyrics up in a Google sheet, and then we had everything like colored with who was gonna sing which line, because like each line has like a reference to a specific song or two, and so like if it was a song that I like wrote the lyrics for, then I sang that one, and if it was like one that Justin wrote the lyrics to, he sang that one.
Wow, that's really interesting. There's so much like extra meaning to these songs I didn't even realize. That's so cool. And speaking of meaning, I guess, what was your intention behind the cover art and the name Just Devils for the album?
So the cover art was Justin's idea. The album name, I think we had like 5 or 6 different ideas for album names, but I knew that I wanted it to be a reference to a lyric in the album. And at the end of De Bartholomew, excuse me, Justin sings the line, no heaven, no hell, no gods above, just devils. And that spoke to me. Like, I got chills the first time I read that, because it's not like, it's not saying anything like religious. It's saying like everyone around us, everywhere you look, like it's the people, like the people that are like the devils, like not to say that everyone's evil, but like it's just, you know, sometimes it really feels that way.
Yeah.
Like everyone is just out for themselves and out for like the like just the worst possible thing, and that was kind of like a lot of the tone of the album.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like that feeling of just being surrounded by like the worst actors, you know.
Yeah.
And so when he ended the song with Just Devils, I was like, that's such a cool name, and that immediately shot to like the top of the list. And then as far as the art, we contacted Michael Bracco from he calls his thing Spaghetti Kiss. He's from Baltimore, and he does this thing called Super Art Fight. If anybody's been to like a convention or anything, like they may have seen them before. They have like a giant canvas, and it's 2 artists going against each other, and then they each have a prompt, and then they do their best to take over the entire canvas with their art, like changing the other artist's art to like match their thing, and then at the end, like the audience decides who wins.
That's really cool. So was the like album art from that?
No. So the album art, we actually just contacted Michael Bracco, and we were like, hey, look, like we want to do this album. This is what we're calling our album. And Justin actually had the idea of like the guy looking in the mirror and having like, you know, the devil looking back at him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Bracco just kind of like took that and ran with it and absolutely knocked it out of the park. Like we kind of just gave him a prompt, and we were like, hey, just go with it. And then he came back with that, and we were just like, wow.
I mean, he definitely kills it. I think especially with I love how it comes out on the CD and vinyl. That like extra art and the, I forget what it's called, but the little panels is like more. Yeah, I love how it looks on there.
So funny story about that is we actually had no intention of doing vinyl for this when we first got the art made, because we had the art made like a year and a half to 2 years before the record was done being recorded. Because we thought it was going to be recorded a lot faster than it was. But yeah, so we wanted to do like a trifold digipack, like CD. Mm-hmm. And we're like, cool. So we'll do like 6 panels, and then we'll do like all the lyrics on the middle, and then we linked up with SPI, and Chris from SPI was like, well, we're doing vinyl, of course. And I was like, well, the art that we have is 6 panels. Sorry.
I don't have the vinyl, so I don't know if he made that accommodate. But if he did, thanks, Chris.
Yeah, no, Chris insisted that like if we were gonna do the vinyl, we had to do the trifold, because that was the coolest part of the physical product, was the album art for sure.
All right, well, that kind of brings me into my next question a little bit. What's some of your favorite artists in the ska scene right now?
Oh, that's an easy one. Like pretty much all of the bands on SPI are absolutely crushing it. Like all the bands on Bad Time Records are crushing it. There's bands that aren't on either label, like Stop the Presses, Los Malhablados. bands in like California, like Ocho Calacas. Absolutely crazy band. There's a ton of bands in England that are killing it. Let's see, Random Hand, Faintest Idea, Sonic Boom 6. Let's see, Rochambeau. I know I'm forgetting some that I will kick myself for later, but like there's bands in Japan like Frail. Frail is crushing it. Like I don't know. There's so many bands. Like it's wild to be involved in a music scene where all of the bands are absolutely sick.
Definitely. I mean, I love so much. I love SPI. I've been going through their stuff. This summer I did a binge of basically all Bad Time Records discography. And it's just it's so much music. It's all so good. I love ska.
And it's crazy too because like I was I was part of like the 2006 to 2010 or whatever ska scene, and like a lot of the bands then were, I don't want to say cringe because they were kids and they were trying to do what they wanted to do, and that's fine. But like a lot of it was kind of hard to listen to. A lot of it was like very Real Big Fishy. A lot of it was like very, okay, we want to sound exactly like He's Been Nights by Catch-22.
Yeah.
And like you can only really listen to so much of that. But like now, like the ska scene musically is so diverse. Like everyone's drawing from so many different places, and it's cool to be on a bill with like, I don't know, like 7 or 8 other, you know, quote unquote ska bands that all sound completely different from each other.
Exactly. I think 90s ska, a lot of it sounds the same, and that's also with 2000 ska. But like the modern ska scene, you guys sound nothing like K-Moy on the same record label. And K-Moy sounds nothing like Half Past Two. It's all completely different. I love that variety in the modern ska scene so much.
Yeah, it's really refreshing, and it makes it so much more enjoyable to play these shows too. Like knowing that there's not going to be like an entire day of bands that all kind of sound exactly the same.
Well, I have one last question. Is there anything in the future for PWRUP? Like, are you working on a new album or anything?
No, we are actually done as of today. Now we have a lot in store. Our 2025 calendar is like filling up pretty quick, actually. We actually have a release that we're trying to get out before the end of the year. It's not new songs. It's kind of reworked old songs because that's what we do.
Hey, if it's like Just Devils again, it's gonna be great where you reworked a bunch of old songs.
In a way, yes.
All right, well, I'm excited for that.
But yeah, we're gonna try and hopefully get that out in the next month or two. I don't want to make any promises, but we tend to work slower than we think we're going to. But it'll be fun. It'll be something fun. And then we do have like a lot of new music written, ready for the next thing. And I think we're gonna have some decent downtime in the next several months to really flesh that out and hopefully get something new out semi-soon, especially now that we have an actual like porn section.
Well, I'm very excited for that then. Maybe when you release new stuff, you can come back on Prowl Radio. But
hell yeah.
I think that's our last question. So thank you, Aaron, very much for your time and talking with me today. I want to remind everyone who is watching, you can find PWRUP at PWRUP Band on Twitter and Instagram. And what are some of your other social media handles?
We're on Facebook. We're on TikTok and YouTube. I think we're on like everything. But it's pretty much all PWRUP Band. If you go to PWRUP.band, that has the entire list.
This has been Talk to Me with Prowl Radio. Check out Prowl Radio's Instagram at Prowl Radio. Thanks for listening to Talk to Me, and have a good rest of your day. Bye.